Good evening everyone and welcome back to our channel. I am Twinkle Quatra from IME Law College and currently a legal intern at Lexis and Company. And today I'm going to discuss about theft. By listening the term theft, in general sense we all know that theft means chori karna, right? But in legal language, what is theft? Today we will discuss that, and it looks easy. The concept looks easy, but somewhere it is difficult to understand that whether it is theft or not. So in this video I will discuss theft. Theft is given under section 378. It means that if someone without the consent of that person in whom under which that property is in the possession takes that property with dishonest intention will be said that that person has committed theft. So there should be a dishonest intention, and the property should be movable, and the property should be in the possession of someone, and the property should be taken without the consent of that person in under which the property is in the possession. And there should be a movement, any movable movement, that someone has taken the property and moved that property to some another place. So in that case that person will be liable for theft. So let's just understand theft with more easily with examples. Let us consider that there is a land of Z and A comes and he cut off that tree, and with the dishonest intention takes that tree with him. So he will be liable under theft. So in section 378 there are five explanations given. So first says that the property should be movable, it should not be any immovable property. And if that property or anything that is in contact with the earth, then that property will be considered as immovable, not movable. So for example, there is a hand pump or there is a tree, and that property is connected with the earth. So for that time it will be considered as immovable property. But when the time will come and that property will be cut off from the earth or will be out of the earth, then that will be considered as movable property. And next explanation says that there should be a movement. For example, if someone is cutting the tree and putting the tree there on that place only, it doesn't mean that that person has committed theft. But if that person has tried to move that property with dishonest intention and without the consent, then he will be liable under theft. Third explanation says that if a person removes the obstacle, then also he will be under theft. If that person, for example, let's take an example. There is a dog and he cannot go forward from this gate, and someone just open that gate so that that dog can go forward. And the purpose of opening the gate was that when the dog will move forward from that gate, he will take that dog and will take that dog with him. So in that case he have removed that obstacle with the dishonest intention, so he will be under theft. Fourth explanation says that if someone will cause the animal to move with the intention to take the other object surrounding that animal. So example, there is a bullock cart, and in that bullock cart there is some gold. And if someone moves that buffalo from any buffalo from that place to any other place to take that gold from the bullock cart, then he will be under theft. And last explanation says that the consent of the person could be implied or it could be expressed. So if you tell me, if you will take anything from your friend and you know that he or she is your friend, and you have faith in that friend that he can give me this property, it is not a big thing if I will take it, right? And you just take the book. Let's assume you take the book from your friend without the consent of your friend. You just take the book by your intention was like, just I will read that book and I will give that book back. In that case, whether you have committed theft or not. So the answer will be that no, if your intention is not bad, in that case you haven't committed theft. But in the practical, if you will see the practical part, then sometimes it becomes very tough to prove the intention in the court. So let's just take another example. So if you are the employee, you are the boss, and you have given a gold plate to your employee and said him to take care of this gold plate, and you just went for some holidays, right? And when you came back, that gold plate was not with that servant, he just sold that gold plate. So will it be considered as theft or not? So it will not be theft, because there was no possession in, he was the only owner of that gold plate. When you have given it to the servant, you were not having any possession, right? So it will not be theft, but it will be criminal breach of trust, because you trusted that your employee will not do anything like this, but he did. So he broke your trust, and I have made the video, a brief video in criminal breach of trust as well. Go watch it, you will definitely like it. So let's just take another example. For example, there is a person, and he sees a ring on a highway, and he took that ring. So whether he has committed theft or not, tell me. So the answer will be that no, he hasn't committed theft, because that highway is not any not someone's property, but he has committed criminal misappropriation of property. So this will be her crime. So for example, there is your friend called Ram, and you have given your watch to him and said him to repair him, and you owe him some money, and to take his money back, he just kept your watch lawfully. And but you came the other day and says him that, Ram, give me my watch back. But that Ram said that, I will give you back when you will pay my money. But you just took that watch, and you just slap 2-3 times on Ram with the anger, and you just take that watch. So you can also theft your own property, I want to say that. So in that case also, you have done the theft, because you owe him some money. But if you doesn't owe any money to him, and you gave your watch to him to repair, in that case you haven't done theft, because that was your own property, and you doesn't owe him anything. So now what will be the punishment of theft? So it is given in section 379. The punishment will be of any description, and 3 years plus fine. So I have one question, that what will happen if you will if you will take the property from a dead man, and if the person is dead, and he is wearing a gold ring, and you watch that, and you just take that property. So whether it will be theft or not, please tell me in comment section. Now let's another section, let's move to another section. It is 380, theft in dwelling house. So if someone does a theft in a dwelling house means that a custody, the property that is using as a custody, like I am living in another house, and in one more house I have put my gold and any other property, and from that house that person took that property, then he will be liable for any description, and punishment will be of 7 years plus fine. Now let's come to section 381. It says theft by clerk or servant of property in possession of master. So if there is a property in your possession, and your clerk or servant took that property from you, then they will be liable for any description, that will be 7 years plus fine. So next come to 382. It says theft after preparation made for causing death, hurt or restraint in order to the committing of the theft. So if your intention is that you will take that thing, and also you will hurt or you will murder that person, then you will be under liable for 10 years plus fine, and that to be the punishment will be rigorous one. So that's it for the theft. And please tell me that if you will take property from a dead man, then it will be considered as theft or not. And also I hope you like this video, and keep liking, keep sharing, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.